Why would you have that conversation? Who the hell would want to have that conversation?
Well, you said you avoid all people who are on that whole part of the internet, like the Ask
Yeah, I
Yourself
do. I
universe,
tend to avoid,
right
yes.
after the Anger Strike debate,
Yeah, after
specifically in regards to Avi, right?
No, it wasn't specifically in regards to Avi. It was more into Isaac, and then
Yes,
because
it was. It was specifically in regards to Avi.
You have to be quiet for 30 minutes. And if you're quiet for 30 minutes and you just let me talk for 30 minutes and don't ask me any questions, then I'll answer your questions after the 30 minutes is up.
I'm frustrated because you're acting like a retard.
Done here is that, like, you don't want to associate with Ask Yourself or have any kind of conversation. You there? You serving me?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
But I've engaged with Sinthe before, so I believe he's being serious. Unless he's trolling all the time, and he just never stops trolling. I already said that. Quibbles, I gotta just ban you. I'm sorry. I can't sit here listening to you telling me I'm wrong and then repeating what I just said. This guy is blanking retarded. What a blanking idiot. Bro, this guy is a retard. Don't know how to say this in a politically correct way. So I'm just going to say it, and I'm sorry.
You're not really, like, if you're not really able to hear out, like, the best possible arguments in favor of that person. You wanna go ahead? That's when you sort of meet yourself. I don't know.
No, it's fine. I just don't understand.
I gotta be worried about the pan already.
Oh, you're good. You're told that he's in the group. Do you really not understand this?
Yeah, that's the association.
Alright, we're gonna get into it. Because I haven't seen it yet. I heard that this is horrible. I heard this is one of the worst things ever seen. So let me show you guys my recent back and forth with Sinthe, okay? Because I've had trouble with Sinthe a couple of times on here. Once was him trying to tell me that there's no such thing as an objective definition. And so I said, I was like, or what did he say? I think that's what he said. Something like that. Something like that. And I responded and I was like, yeah, for the most part, you're right. But there is such thing as an objective definition. Within systems, we have objective definitions, right? So like the NBA has an objective definition for what a foul is, right? Within that system, that is the objective definition for what a foul is, or for what traveling is. Or within like scientist communities, they have objective definitions for what specific words mean. So within these systems, there are objective definitions. Obviously, they create those definitions, but they're creating them outside of the system for the system, right? So they are only objective within the system. They are only like, but he like went off in my chat about how that's not true. I don't know what I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, fine. I don't even care to argue this with you. This is such a, like, simplistic claim. You look it up anywhere, like, every linguist will tell you the same thing. So he went off and chat about how wrong I was, and that was it. Like, I just ignored him because I was done with it. Then, a little while afterwards, they start accusing that girl, whatever her name was, Queen Alexa, of grooming somebody. They didn't have nearly enough evidence to make that claim. And I went over like every detail of their evidence with them, and like nowhere, they didn't have any sort of like extortion there. Like they didn't have any of that. And that's like the most important part if you're talking about grooming. If you're talking about like what is grooming, like you have to be, I don't know, extortion isn't the right word. What am I trying to think of? What is the, I don't know. But yeah, you have to have like some level of like pressure put on you to where you don't have much of a choice anymore. That's like necessary within grooming, and that just wasn't there with that whole situation. Okay, so I posted this. I said, I'm annoyed. Twitter, Twitch, everyone. Roe versus Wade is a legal issue. You wanting abortions has nothing to do with the law. Your morality has nothing to do with the law. None of you are talking about Roe versus Wade. You're just talking about abortions. Now, it seems like by far the majority of people who read this tweet understood what it meant. Even the people who were arguing with me or the people who agreed with me, like everybody understood what I was saying and moved forward, okay? But Synth focused on this sentence right here. Your morality has nothing to do with the law. Okay? I I do think that that legality or politics, like these things are downstream from morality. So obviously, if you let's take Roe versus Wade for instance, okay? So whether or not people want abortion to be legal or illegal, your morality is going to give you a reason for why you want a specific policy. So say I'm pro-life, um I'm I probably have moral reasoning for why I'm pro-life, and then I'm going to advocate for this to be put into law based on the fact that, like, that's what my morality says should be within the law. But whether or not it gets implemented into the law federally is based on the Constitution. It's based on whether or not it fits into our Constitution, right? So it's not about your morality. So when we're talking about Roe versus Wade, we're not talking about your morality. We're talking about the Constitution. Now, if you want to say, hey, I end up on this side or that side of Roe versus Wade because of my morality, I agree. Yes, of course, that makes sense. It's downstream. But that when we're talking about whether or not something is constitutional, we're not talking about your morality. We're not talking about your presuppositions. We're not getting into any of that crap. We are just talking about the Constitution at that point. You've already decided which side you end up on, and you can have the moral arguments all you want, but you're arguing abortion at that point. Right now, we want to have an argument about Roe versus Wade, and I'm very specific in this to say Roe versus Wade, right? I'm not saying abortion, and I even say at the end, you're just talking about abortion. So I'm being clear to say, just Roe versus Wade. We're just talking about the decision of Roe versus Wade. We're like, the constitutionality is what matters, not your morality. Your morality tells you whether or not you want abortion to be legal or illegal. It doesn't tell you whether or not it's constitutional. I feel like that's pretty clear. I feel like everybody got what this was saying. Everybody understood. Okay? Quote tweet. Wait, no quote tweets. What the fuck? There it is. Okay, here it is. Morality has nothing to do with the law is something people repeat a lot, but it's very obviously stupid. How do you think we pick laws? Just at random? So one, I hate this kind of like quote tweeting thing. I never do this. I never do this. I never just like quote tweet somebody and just like, hey, you're retarded. Like, it's but yeah, so he takes that out of context, right? Within the context of this entire statement, character limits, all of that crap, like me saying, you wanting abortions has nothing, or sorry, your morality has nothing to do with the law. I'm being like, I feel like it's clear. I'm saying, like, we're talking about constitutionality. Your morality does not make something constitutional, right? I feel like it's clear. Maybe I'm wrong, but Tom will tell us what's wrong with Roe versus Wade. It's been placed for. I'm not doing that again. We did that for like 3 days. Okay, I'm done with that. All right, so yeah, so my first comment is I said that's a really weird reading of what I said. You're not even close. So obviously, I'm saying I don't think morality has nothing to do with the law. I'm saying in the context of what I was saying, it has nothing to do with like constitutionality, right? So he said, it's not a reading, it's a direct quote. LOL, people's morality is how we decide the laws we ought to have. Now, this isn't necessarily true. People think that all laws come from morality, but that's just not true. Regulations, things, especially like stock market, whether or not you do like what do you call it? Uh, what I keep wanting to say backdoor trading, but that's not insider trading. Like these things aren't necessarily immoral. They're just not the systems won't work if we allow those things. So sometimes we just have to make it illegal in order for the system to work. That doesn't mean it's immoral. Like it just it just means that we want the system to work, so we're gonna make it illegal. Like it's that it's that simple. Like speeding, probably not immoral, but still illegal, right? Like not all laws are moral. Somewhere down the line, obviously it will play into morality at some point, but that's not that's not what we're talking about. So I said no, it is in the or sorry, wait. He said it's not a reading people's moralities how we decide the laws. We ought to have the idea it has nothing to do with the law is at best incredibly stupid. I said no, it is in the way you're applying it. You are I can barely read this. In the way you're applying it, you took that quote out of context. I'm obviously saying something is moral. I'm obviously saying I don't understand this. I'm obviously saying you saying something is moral doesn't make it constitutional. Okay, that makes sense. You having morals that lead to prescriptions doesn't mean they fit in our system. Roe versus Wade wasn't overturned for being immoral. And this is true. Yes, all of these things are true. And I went on to say the point in what I'm saying is to say they aren't talking about Roe versus Wade. He said, Tom, if interpreting your words the way you said them is a bad reading, then maybe rhetoric coach isn't the best career path for you. One, the Constitution itself was decided based on morals. Cool story. That's not relevant to whether or not Roe versus Wade is going to be decided based on morals. It's going to be decided based on constitutionality. Number two, interpretations of the Constitution are informed by morals. I didn't disagree with this. And so this is the part that gets me. And I can go through all of these and me explaining it to him over and over, okay? But all that matters here to me is that I've already said that's not what I was saying. Once I've explained what it is that I meant by that, even if I said it horribly, let's say I said it in a really horrible way, but I come here and I explain to him what it was that I meant by that. I don't understand why we would keep arguing about what it is he thinks I mean by it. I've already told you what I mean by it. Argue with that. But instead, he'll keep talking to me about what he thinks the original quote means or says and how dumb it is. And then even stupid things like, the maybe rhetoric coach isn't the best career path. Like, cool story, bro. Why are you I don't like we're not here for freaking career path advice. I'm trying to explain to you what it is that my tweet was meant to say and hoping that like we would move on from there, but we don't. He just keeps going on. My bad, bud. By morals having nothing to do with the law, you actually meant morals are a fundamental basis for all laws. I should have known better. I'm talking about the Constitution. In the context, I'm talking about the Constitution. But anyways, he wants to keep arguing about what he thinks I said. That's what he wants to argue about. He doesn't actually want to engage with what I said. He wants to argue about his misunderstanding. That's a more interesting conversation. Let's talk about how I misinterpreted what you said by taking things out of context. That's a much better conversation. It's obnoxious. So these are my 2 or 3 interactions with Sinthe. He seems and presents himself like a fairly smart, logical guy. But then every time I watch him, he's horribly illogical. If you guys watched did any of you watch the panel that had like Synth, BPF, Mr. Girl? I think Chud Logic might have been on there. Synth was like misunderstanding almost everything that came out of Mr. Girl's mouth. The Constitution is a document based on moral principle. I already said that. Quibbles, I gotta just ban you. I'm sorry. I can't sit here listening to you telling me I'm wrong and then repeating what I just said. I'm too annoyed already with with that entire stupid panel I just got off of. Okay. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So these are my interactions with Synth. He presents himself in a way to where he seems like an intelligent young guy. Like he seems like somebody who at least can like think his way through a problem at minimum. But over time, like all of my interactions with him say, and I don't know how to say this in a politically correct way. So I'm just going to say it, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna, yeah. My only like thought on this is that he's probably, so I want to say he's high functioning autistic, or a high functioning autist, but his ability to function within a logical framework is low functioning. So like he seems like he can have like social interactions without much of an issue. He's a little off kilter, but not like outrageous, right? So he would be considered high functioning because of his social abilities. But yes, within like logically, he seems very low functioning. Like he has trouble like understanding a logical framework a lot of times. Or I think it's more so that he might just have trouble understanding what other people are saying. Tom hasn't even talked about Biden's Secret Service officers being sent home from South Korea for drunkenly fighting. Yeah, I don't care.
Right.
Does anybody have like the original tweet from this?
Yeah, you quote tweeted me saying like in quotes guilt by association, then like in all caps like what lol with a bunch of question marks afterwards, right?
Oh yeah, I said that because I don't guilt by association people. I thought that was a really funny way to analyze my interactions with people, but
yeah, crap, dude. Does anybody have the original tweet?
So when you were like saying to Avi that he's part of the Ask Yourself universe, that's why you don't want to associate with him, that wasn't like guilt by association?
no.
Oh, that's right. Sass told me this is about Avi. Oh, and he did mention Ask Yourself. Okay, so I've seen Avi a number of times, talked to him a couple of times. Avi is like a well-respected guy, even like seemingly outside of like Twitch politics and online debate spheres. He's a fairly well-known dude. I've watched a lot of his debates. I really like the way he studies for them and interacts in them. He does a good job. But the only downside to Avi is he's like best friends with Ask Yourself. And Ask Yourself is like one of those reductive debate bro-y type guys. Now, he's like top tier, so he's like he's like really good debate bro, like, Zen Shapiro type guy where like he wants to catch you in like a logical fallacy and box you in and then, I got you. This is so embarrassing for you. Like it's, yeah. It's just, I think that's such a, I don't feel like people who debate to win. I feel like they don't actually like give a crap about that topic. This is just sport to them. They could literally debate from they could debate any topic. They could debate any position. Wouldn't matter. All they care about is just getting a win. And I feel like that's Ask Yourself. So The only downside to Avi, I think he's a great guy. I think he seems like a super smart dude. The only downside that I can see is his relationship with Ask Yourself, because when I've seen him debate with Ask Yourself, like 2v2s, and it's Avi and Ask Yourself versus other people, Ask Yourself will be like super toxic and just ridiculous and obnoxious. And Avi's on his team. You expect Avi to either say something or like be annoyed by what Ask Yourself is doing, or, or like tell him to chill, or, recognize that he's acting a fool whatsoever. But like, he doesn't. He just sits there and acts like everything that Ask Yourself does is completely normal. And so that, to most people, is going to be him agreeing with him, or at least like giving a semi I'm sorry, I'm blanking on words right now, but it'll seem like he's not against what Ask Yourself is doing if he doesn't say anything. So yeah, that's it. Like, outside of that, I think Avi's a cool dude, but his relationship with Ask Yourself, I find it confusing, because Ask Yourself is just kind of a douchebag.
That was...
I don't want to say sorry. He's not a douchebag. I just don't like the way he debates. I shouldn't have said that. He's not a dude. I don't know him well enough. I think he acts like a douchebag sometimes, but I don't. Yeah.
That was actually part of the Discord servers and groups that he's in. Like, if I say that, like, you're friends with Nick...
connections is the people he's connected to his associations.
Okay.
Okay, so it started off with Sinthe saying, you're saying Avi is guilty by associating with Ask Yourself or Ask Yourself server. And Destiny saying, no, I don't do guilt by association. So that's not what I was doing. And it sounds like Sinthe is insisting that he's doing a guilt by association.
Nick connections is the people he's connected to his associations.
Okay.
If
I say that, do you recognize, if I say you're a Nazi because you hang out with Nick Fuentes, that's guilt by association. But if I say you're a Nazi because you're in the same Nazi group as Nick Fuentes, that's not guilt by association. That is what you are, right?
You think that Dr. Avi is a Nazi?
This is... See, oh man. See, okay. So, oh my goodness, dude. This is the type of thing that normally I would say, oh, he's obviously trolling. Oh, this dude is definitely a troll. But I've engaged with Sinthe before, so I believe he's being serious. Unless he's trolling all the time, and he just never stops trolling. I believe that he's being serious. Destiny gave a hypothetical, an analogy, and compared Avi to a Nazi to explain guilt by association. And Sinthe said, but Avi's not a Nazi. Like, he doesn't understand how hypotheticals or analogies work. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit.
Say you're a Nazi because you...
If I say that,
do you recognize, if I say you're a Nazi because you hang out with Nick Fuentes, that's guilt by association. But if I say you're a Nazi because you're in the same Nazi group as Nick Fuentes, that's not guilt by association. That is what you are, right?
Okay, I see what... Okay, so I see what Sinthe is... I see the... Okay. So, he thinks that because Destiny said Avi is in a server, that because he's in that server with a bunch of debate bros, now Destiny is saying that he's guilty by associating with everybody in that server, or by associating with debate bros. So it is I'll admit this is a little bit more difficult or nuanced, because guilt by association is like a saying that means something very specific. It's not just, oh, you're bad for associating. Like, that's not what guilt by association means generally. Like, normally, guilt by association means I'm blaming you for that person's actions because of your association, right? So, like, yeah, like if I go hang out with a bunch of Nazis and you say, oh, well, Tom's bad now because he hangs out with a bunch of Nazis, then that would be guilt by association. But if I'm a Nazi and you say Tom's bad because he's a Nazi, Sinthe would say, oh, that's guilt by association. Because you're saying because I associate with the Nazi label or the Nazi group or the Nazi people, I am now bad. That would be guilt by association. But that's not what guilt by association means. It doesn't just mean like you're bad because of an association. It's very specific. You are bad because you associate with this person who I think is bad. That's guilt by association. Not like I'm part of a group. I'm a part of an association, which is bad. So now it's guilt by association. No. So like Destiny can say like, oh, okay, so Avi's part of a group that I don't like. So I don't want to associate with him. Like, simple. That's not guilt by association. He's part of the group. That is like that is a, I don't know how to say it, like an active thing that he is doing. Not just an association. He is actively doing this thing. Being part of that group is not just an association. It's you actively doing something. So yeah, there's a difference. I'll admit it's a little bit confusing. But I think everybody gets it, right?
You think that Dr. Avi is a Nazi? Of course not. What's the connection here? Like, I'm sorry, like you think he's like, what is the aspect of hanging out in the Ask Yourself universe that makes him like a bad person?
How old are you?
Why is this relevant? You can't address my points?
I just, my mind just got fractured.
Him like a bad person. What is the aspect of hanging out in the Ask Yourself universe that makes him like a bad? You think he's like, of course not. What's the connection here? Like, I'm sorry, like you think he's like, what is the aspect of hanging out in the Ask Yourself universe that makes him like a bad person?
My bad. This is amazing. Like Destiny's using Nazis as like a comparison to the Ask Yourself universe, what they're calling it. The in Synth thinks that he's calling him a Nazi when he's just like giving an analogy or a hypothetical to explain how guilt by association works.
How old are you?
Why is this relevant? You can't address my points?
I just, my mind just got fractured into a million pieces. Okay.
Well, I guess it sucks to have your mind fractured into a million pieces by a simple fucking question, doesn't it? You answer the question.
It's the worst.
You have no clue how simple that question actually was.
way to have your mind fractured. Okay.
Whoa, that's crazy. So can you just answer my question?
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Yeah. What I was saying was that like, I wouldn't call somebody a Nazi for hanging out with Nick Fuentes. But if they were in the same Nazi group as Nick Fuentes, I would call them a Nazi, okay? I don't call Dr. Avi a debate lord or whatever. I don't even know if he is, because he hangs out with Isaac, okay? I used to be a part of that Discord, and my understanding was that Avi, along with Isaac and the other people, are all like huge debaters in the Discord, and I don't want to associate with like that group of people. That's it. He's not. It's not just because he's friends with them. I thought him and Isaac were like the two like biggest dudes in that server. That was my understanding when I was there like 4 or 5 years ago. I thought that's how it was. Am I incorrect in that assessment?
That he was one of the biggest guys in the server.
Yeah, that Avi and Isaac were like.
My knowledge is, but your point was that he was like part of the Ask Yourself universe.
Yeah, he's part
so
of
you
that.
Were, it was so no, it wasn't like the server he was in. It was the fact that he was like associated with AY.
What is the wait? What is that server called?
I have no idea.
It's called the Ask Yourself Discord. Yeah.
You said he's part of the Ask Yourself universe. We both understand what that means, right?
It means that he's like actively part of like that whole like debatosphere. I just don't associate with those
You're
people.
part of the debatosphere. I don't know what
I'm absolutely not. Like that kind of shit.
You were one of the before you left, you just said you were in there, right? You would have been the biggest guy in there.
Yes, before I left, I did. I used to be like a big internet debater. I still like debate people. I like doing it, but like that type of like get the logical.
Yeah, there's a difference. People like will call me a debate bro, and I don't do this stuff. Like I don't do the stuff that like Sinthe does, where like, oh, you want to call yourself a debate coach? Well, you want to call yourself a rhetoric coach? Probably not. Probably not a good title when I can just take the stuff you say out of context and make it mean something else. Like it's the little like jabs and like, ooh, I let me get this gotcha, and I seriously go watch the panel with BPF and Mr. Girl and all of those people. I forget who all was on it, but it's amazing. Like it's truly amazing. Like how hard they try to get Mr. Girl. And Mr. Girl is one of the easiest people in the world to make look bad. Like you can make him look bad so easily. And they ended up making themselves look bad and made Mr. Girl look good, which Mr. Girl was making no sense at the time. And they just they couldn't get him.
Fallacy connection between A and B is a
Tom, have you ever gone full debate bro? I've never actually I've never actually cared for the style at all. I would bet money that you can't go find a single like organized debate of mine where I call somebody out on a fallacy or I try telling them like, you know, I just the debate, even the debate bro, like the debate bro person is like comes with their own rhetoric. They come with their own like language where they say all sorts of like weird stuff all the time that I just like. I've never been that person ever.
Non-sequitur. Like I don't do that shit anymore. I haven't for like years. That was like 20.
Avi does that.
I don't know if he does or doesn't, but I know that he's very close friends with Isaac, and I know that he used to, and I know that
he's
that's
very close friends with Isaac. That's your evidence that he does this.
Wait, is Isaac? Ask Yourself.
Just giving it all, but you're like cutting me off to try to make like an epic internet point.
You just said his friend. You just said his friend is the reason why he's guilty here. You're like his association is the reason why he's guilty.
It's not his association with the friend. It's that he's part of that friend group. He's part of the group of people that all do that.
This is guilt by association. He's part of the friend group.
Bro, you need to associate your neurons with each other, okay? Fire them off, okay? Listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah, this is almost exactly what I explained earlier, where like if you're part of a group, you are actively endorsing that group, right? Just being friends with one person or just associating with the person isn't necessarily guilt, right? So like Destiny associates with Lauren Southern. Lauren Southern's considered a stochastic terrorist and all of this other horrible stuff, right? Destiny being friends with her, a lot of people automatically do the guilt by association, saying like, hey, you're guilty because you associate with her. But Destiny challenges her on things that he disagrees with her on. He debates her consistently. He's never like endorsed her or her ideas or been like, yes, she's somebody that you guys should look to for information and ideology and like, you know, that's just, he's never done that. So The guilt by association doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless Destiny was like in her chat every day, watching her shows and like a big fan of hers. And at that point, this is no longer just an association. You're now like endorsing this person. You're now like connected to their ideas by being part of this group that we call her chat or her community. So it's very different from just being friends. Tom isn't like those other debaters, is what pick me. Okay.
You're unhinged. I have no idea what the fuck you think this is like not guilt by association. Like
if I could say that he was part of
call it something different, and maybe you could get on board with this. Is he like his associations with Ask Yourself and that friend group of people, right? Is the reason why he's doing something that makes.
Yeah, I actually talked to BXplode about you, and she said that she thought I was a big DGGer. When I asked why, she said because Jack is in my Discord and she knows he's a big DGGer. And I was like, I don't think he's a big DGGer, actually. I don't think he's a DGGer at all. I'm not a DGGer. Like, and I'm probably closer to being a DGGer than Jack is, but I'm not like associated with the community. I'm just associated with Destiny or I've watched his content. Like that's it.
You not want to associate with him.
That's the thing. It's because of the group that he's in and what they do, him included.
Isn't that what he just said?
That's not association. That's an action.
And what he does? What does he do?
He's one of the big debater bros in that sphere.
You're
being part of the group. It is the endorsement. That's what he's doing.
Like you were saying, he does. You don't even know if he does the like logical fallacy bro thing.
I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to. Him and Isaac were the two biggest debaters. Wait, hold on. Wait. Do you even know anything about this server? Do you even know what the fuck you're talking about?
This is just another personal jab. Like I don't really. It doesn't matter if I like don't know enough about this server to like talk to you about it.
I just had
okay, so that he keeps saying that. So other things weren't personal jabs either, but I understand why he thought they were, because he doesn't know how wrong he is, but when people say the things that he's saying, it makes sense for somebody to be like, how old are you? Just to kind of gauge how ridiculous this conversation is going to be. But saying, are you even part of Ask Yourself server? That's not a personal jab. That's not an ad hom. He's that's actually like relevant to whether or not you understand the information that he's putting forward. So when he says, well, no, it's because he's part of this server, he's using that as evidence to say, yeah, these debate bro culture types, like, I don't want to interact with them. But if you don't know that that's what the server is, then you don't understand his point. You don't understand why he's making that connection. Guilt by platforming seemed to be their gripe, even if you disagree with them on said platform. I mean, so if somebody wants to, because their issue with her being platformed is that she's a stochastic terrorist and that she pushes the Great Replacement and that she tipped over a freighter with a flare gun or something like that. If you can show me where she ever does this stuff on his platform, then it would make sense. But like, even after he platforms her, she doesn't go back to her stream and push the Great Replacement. Like, she doesn't go back to her stream and push any of the stuff that they're upset about. She doesn't talk about that crap. So like, the platforming still doesn't make sense to me.
Like,
he's guilty by his associate. Okay. Hold on, you just asked me a question. Let me answer.
Go ahead and answer it. Okay, I'm in a great mood tonight, so I'll be patient.
So in the case of like the claim you're making here is that like you don't want to associate with Ask Yourself or have any kind of You there? You serving me?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
You got him. He got him. That was good, dude. He was getting ready to play that piano. He thought he was home free, dude. He thought he was home free. For those of you who don't know, Destiny will very disrespectfully just like when he does not give a crap about what you're about to say because he knows there's about to be a whole lot of nonsense, which in this case it's definitely going to be a whole lot of nonsense. He will mute and then just start playing the piano, ignoring everything that you have to say. But as soon as he got to that piano, since like, oh wait, what are you doing? Are you there? Hello?
So in the case of like the claim you're making here is that like you don't want to associate with Ask Yourself or have any kind of You there? Did server mute?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, no, if there's something you have to say, you go ahead. I don't want you to like play piano over me like you did with Jack Angstreich.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so there used to be a server. I think there still is one. It's called the Ask Yourself server. Okay, it was. I don't know if it was the largest vegan server on Discord, but it was like one of the biggest like ultimate debater servers. The whole reason why people go in there is to debate about veganism and then stuff related to philosophy and ethics. That's what people do. It was literally like a meat eater would show up and he'd be like, oh, it's debate time, and they'd go to the Discord or whatever. Now, I used to be like one of those like big debater people. It was funny. Like there are times where like I have videos of me in bed with a girl and like somebody pings me to go in here and I'm like on my laptop like telling her to like chill out and I'm arguing with these people because it's like fun. Because I was into that debato shit a ton, okay? So I was part of that server. I'm very familiar with how it used to work. Isaac Daddy would show up and like bully the fuck out of like these carnivore dipshits. Avi sometimes would as well. Like I remember seeing this shit happen all the time. And it was funny and it was like, okay. And I was like, okay, cool. But eventually like I've kind of like moved away into more like conversational bridging divides kind of shit is like what I do. I'm not part of like a hardcore debatosphere. Now, I've still like entertained some conversations, but a while ago, Isaac asked me to debate like a friend of his, and it was a really weird off the wall, that Jack Angstrom guy. The conversation was like incredibly bizarre to me. The guy did a ton of lecturing. He seemed a little bit autistic. I don't mean that as an insult, but like genuinely, like the conversation was bizarre. And
This sounds like there was a guy who called in a while ago, and he was like walking around the city, like you could hear like all sorts of like noise, and he's like panting and like trying to keep his breath while he's talking to him. Destiny's on stream trying to like talk to this guy, and the guy's like literally like on Discord on his phone, like walking through the streets. Like I don't know where he was. It sounded like he was in the middle of like downtown New York, and just walking around talking to Destiny about some I feel like it was the labor theory of value theory of labor theory of value. I don't know, but it was one of those things. That's what it sounds like he's talking about.
afterwards, I was like, okay, cool. He was like walking around the city explaining like the labor theory of value. I mean, it was weird.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That is the guy. Yeah.
Know whether it's false or not?
I don't. It depends on what you mean by false.
So you understand, right, that there are propositions, that what predictions are propositions, right? We should expect to see X, right, over time, right? So let's say a rising rate of exploitation, right? We should expect to see a rising rate of exploitation over time, right? That's a prediction of the theory, right?
Why would the theory predict that? Can you walk me through that?
Again, I can walk you through it if you want to take the time and have a seminar on the LTV.
Can you explain it to me in
right?
less than like 3 minutes?
No, I can't.
Okay, start talking and I'll go ahead. Go for it. Then just start talking.
Right?
Then do it in 5 or 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Go explain it. Why?
So you want to have a seminar on the labor theory of value, right?
Yeah,
now?
I want you to tell me why we would expect to see less and less or more exploitation of workers.
All right. So let's start with the basic formula. Goods that are necessary to reproduce the workers' capacity to work. Let's say a work day, and the value of the worker's labor power.
The same formula. And then we have V, which is this is the
variable capital.
Okay, which
that
is
means,
labor.
That means
right?
That's the value of labor power.
Yep. Okay.
And S, which is surplus value.
Okay.
Constant capital across that sector of production in a given production cycle is going to be something like, I don't know.
As commodities become obsolete and new commodities form and new constant capital is required, the compensation to that second variable is maybe remains roughly constant over time. It doesn't decrease as time goes on.
I'm not understanding how you're.
How does he not
generating
understand anything? I don't understand. What the
prediction
fuck?
That we should.
That guy's. It was just like one big long schizo post. Like Destiny asked him a million questions, and the guy refused to answer questions. He kept saying, "No, you have to be quiet for 30 minutes. And if you're quiet for 30 minutes and you just let me talk for 30 minutes and don't ask me any questions, then I'll answer your questions after the 30 minutes is up." Destiny kept saying, he's like, "Dude, why can't we just talk about this? Just you say something, I say something, we go back and forth, like it'll be fine." The guy's like, "No, I don't feel like you're going to understand what we're talking about. So I need you to wait 30 minutes and then I will give you a lecture and then you can." Anyways, that I'm pretty sure Destiny played the piano like the entire time the guy was talking, and then he finished, and then Destiny just asked the questions he was already trying to ask. So yeah, it was interesting. I like the guy had a lot of interesting stuff to say. It's just it was kind of obnoxious. It was just a 30-minute schizo post, and he's probably autistic. It just the whole thing was awkward.
And after I was done with that, Isaac like took to Twitter and was like, "This guy fucking crushed Destiny, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay."
Why did you not include the part where you just like didn't address any of his arguments and played piano over him? Why did you not include that part of the story?
I can include it. If people want to go watch the debate, they can. Like,
yeah, I was like, so I think you just didn't want to talk to Avi afterwards because you said he was like part of the Ask Yourself universe.
no, hold on. Can I just finish? No, hold on. What I was saying was that like
finish the whole story.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that like after that happened, regardless of how bizarre the conversation was, Isaac like did his standard like posturing, like, "Oh, this is like, you know, epic, like Destiny got fucking on." People can find these tweets if they want. Maybe they saw that. I don't know. And then after that, I was like, okay. I just like, I'm not interested in like that type of community, that like ultra debate lord stuff. So I just don't want to have like those types of conversations. Then sometime in the future, when I was having debates with not vegans, with anti or pro-abortion people, I think it was pro-life people on TikTok. I was starting to have some debates. Avi messaged me and he was like, "Hey, can I like argue like the Steelman version of pro-choice or pro-life or something?" And when he said that, I was like, "No, I don't think so. Like, I'm not interested." I might not even respond because I didn't want to. And then he kept messaging me over. He sent me multiple emails. Then he started sending me multiple tweets. And then Isaac started sending me messages on, I think, Discord and Twitter. And they started commenting on my YouTube videos. Like, I just don't want to be a part of this stuff. And now everybody's saying that like,
you said this before any of that shit, right? You said this when like it was like right after the Jack Angstreich debate. You said that you didn't want to be part of like, you didn't want to talk to Avi about it because he was part of the Ask Yourself universe. That's when you like cut
I don't
ties.
think that's when I don't know if Avi ever wanted to talk to me about that. I think it was about the abortion stuff is when he started messaging me a lot to like talk again.
Well, you said you avoid all people who are on that whole part of the internet, like the Ask
Yeah, I
Yourself
do. I
universe,
tend to avoid,
right
yes.
after the Angstreich debate,
Yeah, after
specifically in regards to Avi, right?
No, it wasn't specifically in regards to Avi. It was more into Isaac, and then
Yes,
because
it was. It was specifically in regards to Avi.
hold on,
Like you mentioned it by name, didn't you?
I might have mentioned as being part of it, but I think the reason why I said it was because
Then it was in regards to
hold on,
Avi,
can I
right?
finish a sentence, bro?
goodness.
Or what do you want to do? Do you want to just like own me, or do you want me to explain anything that's happened? Because you don't even have the full story. I can tell, like in terms of what's happened, right?
Well, so that's what I'm talking about when I talk about like the debate bro-y stuff, is where he's purposefully like that little bit right there with the
own me, or do you want me to explain anything that's
To Avi,
Can I
right?
finish this? I might have mentioned as being part of it, but I think the reason why I said it was because
Then it was in regards to Avi,
Can I
right?
finish a sentence, bro?
like he mentions like, yeah, so this part with Avi. Oh, so it did have to do with Avi, didn't it? Got you. You said it didn't, but you just now said Avi, so it had to do with him. Like it's people who aren't interested in the actual conversation. They want to get you on like, "Oh, you misspoke. Oh, you said this wrong. Oh, you got this logical fallacy. Oh, this this is I'm blanking on everything. I'm getting tired. But yeah, anyways, it never seems like they actually like are interested in the actual conversation. They're not there to like have a back and forth. They're there to make you look stupid. And I don't know why anybody would be interested in that.
Or what do you want to do? Do you want to just like own me, or do you want me to explain anything that's happened? Because you don't even have the full story. I can tell, like in terms of what's happened, right? My
You don't
understanding.
even remember the full story. Like
I'm telling you right now what my recollection is. Okay, so if I'm wrong, you can go to one of them and prove me wrong. Okay, I'm friends with Avi on Discord. Like we're cool. I just don't like to debate these people. Right? But the issue is that after the Jack Angstrom thing, I'm pretty sure Isaac came to me with another person that he wanted me to debate. It wasn't Avi, it was somebody different. And at that point, I was like, no, like I don't want to do any of this anymore. And then I think that's when I might have made the statements publicly. It wasn't about Avi. I think it was somebody else that Isaac was bringing for me to debate after
Sorry,
the
was it or was it not about Avi? You kind of flipped back and forth a couple times there.
I haven't flipped back and forth. That's when after the Angstrom thing.
You said I'm trying to dunk on you.
See, this is what I'm talking about. He's so like, he wants to get him on whether or not it is or isn't about Avi, when that's not an important part. Whether or not it is or isn't about Avi, like you wording it that way is not important. But it's not. Tom, you get hung up on semantics. I'm not against getting semantics are like the most important part of a debate. I'm not against some. I didn't even. I don't know what. I don't know how that's relevant. Just wanting to own and not wanting to actually have a conversation should be its own galaxy. Oh, its own fallacy. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with those people, and I'm cool with the idea of that, right? Like debate club exists in schools, right? Like debate being a sport is a whole thing, and that's cool. Like y'all do that. Hell yeah. I don't know. It sounds like Destiny might think that that's like wrong. I don't know, but I don't care. I don't have an issue with that. I'm not interested in it at all. Like I don't know why. I don't know why I don't know why I would be. Like I'm actually interested in like the positions. Like I'm just interested in the positions. I don't care about anything else. And I like using debate as like a tool to sharpen my positions, the positions that I hold. I want to find holes. I want to find issues in my logic. I want to find, get more information. I want to sharpen the blade. Synth is hyper focusing on the words Destiny is using. You do that too. No, not like this. We're talking about like tangential information that's not actually like necessary for Destiny to make his point. Say it turns out that Avi was part of what Destiny was saying. It would mean nothing. It changes nothing. Like it's not like, we're not talking about semantics here. We're talking about like pointless information that keeps getting brought back up. And there's why else bring it up?
You're on you or something.
Okay, chill. I
think anybody listening to this can tell I'm pretty calm right now. You seem a lot more like I don't know, like
This is another debate broy thing. Like, oh, as long as I stay super calm and if your voice has any inflection in it whatsoever, then I win, you lose. Like, I hate that so much, dude. I hate that. Like that's what Todd said after the debate with, what was his name? Oh, damn it, dude. What was his name? Tyler Bluntman. After my debate with Tyler Bluntman, Todd was like, dude, Tyler destroyed you. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, everything seems to say that I did really well. Like, your own polls say that I won by like 60%. Like, what more do you need? He's like, yeah, but you were yelling. It's like, oh, okay. If that's how you decide who wins and loses debates, it's like, who yelled, then I guess my bad. I didn't know that's how you lose a debate.
flustered than I do? You seem upset.
Well, I'm frustrated because you're acting like a retard. That's
Okay, then
yes.
don't say like chill if
Oh
you're
my
frustrated.
Well, I'm
and
trying to
chill.
tell you to chill because I'm trying to finish my answer, but you're like so keen on like getting in the
Okay,
that you're not.
you can
like,
yeah, I guess you can do the tone policing thing if you want. I don't think it's really relevant here.
well, you just
Tone
said I was the
policing.
one with the bad tone. So if anybody's tone policing here, it's you by saying
You
I
just
said
said
It's not tone policing. He's saying that you keep trying to jump over him and stop him from talking and interrupting him. Like it's not. I don't know how that's tone policing.
You just told me to chill. Yeah, I said that in response to
Because he's acting like Destiny's actually triggered. That would be a lot closer to tone policing.
No, I said you
Get
sounded like
that?
a retard. I'm not policing your tone. I'm
No,
policing
you
your
told me to
content.
chill. You just told me to chill.
Yeah, but I'm not telling you to chill in your tone. I'm telling you to stop interrupting me so I can finish the story. Okay.
Okay, you did tell me to chill though.
I did indeed tell you to chill.
Okay,
You're
there we
like,
go.
Got him. Got him. Got him. You told him to chill. You told him to chill. 07's in chat, everybody. He did. He did. He really did. He did tell him to chill. Yeah. It really happened. It did. I saw it.
Collection is correct. Okay. So I think that when I started saying I didn't want to do the AY universe anymore was when Ask Yourself was trying to bring another debater to me after Angstrom. I don't think it was Avi. I'm almost positive. I think it was another like weird Marxist dude. And then after that whole ordeal, I started doing debates on TikTok about pro-life stuff. Then Avi messaged me, and I might have reiterated like I don't have any interest in like doing that debates with those types of people because I didn't want like the whole Isaac, that server and all of that shit, like which I associate Avi heavily with because my understanding is he's still like actively participating in that community thing, and I just don't want anything to do with that community of people.
Okay, you don't want anything to do with that community which he's associated with.
Yes.
Okay, so his associations with
Oh no. It's the endorsement of the community that is the problem, not just the association. It's being an active member within that community is an endorsement of it, and you are guilty of the endorsement or the active participation within that community. It's not just the association. He's like trying so hard to like dumb this down to, oh, so it is an association. Haha.
people are why you don't want to be associated with him.
If he was
That's guilt by association, isn't it?
No.
And this is weird. So okay, so this is just like the tweet. This is just like my tweet with him, where like, bro, Destiny's like telling you what it is he meant by what he said. Like, what else matters? He says, hey, this is what I meant by what I said. Cool. Let's talk about that. Why are we still talking about what you misinterpreted his words to mean? Why would you have that conversation? Who the hell would want to have that conversation?
I don't know how to explain.
Can you just give me your idea of like what
Hold
guilt
on.
by association is?
Guilt by association doesn't mean...
Just clarify for me.
Yeah. If he was just friends with Isaac, then that would be guilt by association. He is part of the association, though. It's not guilt by association. It's the guiltiness of his... He is literally part of that community.
What?
If he was just friends with Ask Yourself, then
Hold
that
on.
would be different.
It's the guilt of his association. Did I hear that correctly, or am I going
of
insane?
the association that he's in, yes.
It's the guilt of his associations.
It's the actual participating in that community, yes.
I understand. So it was super. Well, I got it wrong. So instead of saying guilt by association, I should just say guilt of association, and that would have been like that. That would have made it not like a what lol in all caps with 4 question marks moment.
It would have been a participation in the association. Do you understand what I was saying? Hold on. Do you understand the difference between being...
He participates with associating with certain people. That clarifies everything.
No,
That's
no.
very,
It's
very
that
different
he's-
than guilt by association.
It's that he's in the group. Do you really not
That's-
understand
that's-
this?
Yeah, that's an association.
Oh my goodness.
Are you insane?
Hold on. Like, there are people that I will talk to that are...
Wait. Oh man, I'm actually like I'm actually getting a migraine over this. Like this really is like hurting my head unironically. Like this hurts. Like, because at the beginning I was thinking, okay, this is like a fair misunderstanding, I suppose. Like I could understand how one could misunderstand this. But the fact that, one, he's still harping on just that one thing, right? He doesn't want to talk about what Destiny was actually trying to say. He wants to talk about whether or not it's a guilt by association. Then he's but then like Destiny's already explained this well enough numerous times to where it should be understood by now. There's no way he doesn't understand. I wonder like how many this guy's probably like building up an entire channel of like all the people he's trolled. I I'm probably on there like 4 or 5 times now cuz does he have a channel on YouTube?
So could you, while I'm just setting this up, Synth, Phenomics, could you introduce yourselves, what your backgrounds are?
Sure.
Short, make it brief.
Sure. I am Sinthe.
Damn, his audio is so much better than his desktop audio. Pretty bold of Destiny to assume you can talk to who you want. Well, so I get what you're saying, but if Destiny is going to come out with a statement publicly about why he doesn't want to talk to somebody, I feel like it makes sense for people to push back on that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, just because you're a card-carrying member of the Nazi party doesn't mean anything. It's just an association. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Yes. You're saying he's dumbing that, like, you being part of the Nazi party, he's dumbing that down to, oh, you're not guilty for, like, being part of this party and, you know, torturing Jewish people and all of that. No. It's because Hitler calls himself a Nazi. And so now, it's just guilt by association, man. Everybody hating on Nazis is always just guilt by association. That's it. That's all it is.
You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/SINTH.
Damn, dude. His mic audio is dope. He's got a lot of bass in it.
My understanding is Avi is friends with a ton of people. I'm pretty sure. Like, I think he's friends with, like, Rose Wrist and a lot of the small. I talked to all those guys. I don't like axe them by guilt of association. But if those guys were part of,
it's not like double layer guilt by association. So you only do like one layer deep of guilt by association.
Dude, the chat is just like I see the word retard literally like every two. This guy is blanking retarded. What a blanking idiot. Bro, this guy is a retard. Those two things, those are two big different things. So much cancer. Destiny, wow, you hate gerbils? Because he was associated with Nazis. Blanking moron. Is he retarded? Like, damn, dude.
it's people that are in the group. Are you trolling me
That's
right
an
now?
association. Are you insane?
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait.
I asked you a question earlier. You didn't answer. You just dodged it entirely. What's guilt by association, dude?
Guilt by association is if I don't want to talk to somebody simply because they're friends with somebody else.
So dude. I don't even like. It's already been explained so many times in so many different ways. I don't think there's a way that you could explain this to him now. I don't think it's possible. Like, yeah, it's not possible. This is amazing, actually.
Or I'm accusing them of being the same as another person just because they're friends with that person. That's guilt by association.
So, not wanting to talk to somebody because they're friends with other people. But if they have enough friends, then it's not guilt.
Not gonna lie, I thought he was unironically autistic. I mean, he might be. I don't know. I would assume, based on every interaction with him. Like the first time I ever heard of Synth was, you remember the day that I went on to Politically Provoked to talk to Brittany about the fact that like Mio was a Nazi and like he and he's like pushing like super far right stuff. Afterwards, I went into a Discord and I jumped into a chat, and there were about 10 people there. They were all like doing a watch party, and a couple of them were like, "Yo, Tom, great job, well done, really glad you went on." Like, everybody else was just making absolutely no sense. But then I think it was Sam the Human and what's his name? Spectre, who said, they were like, well, actually, they're like, that freaking synth guy went on there and just completely spazzed out and made everyone who came on afterwards and said anything similar to him made them look like idiots. Like, now you sound like you're gonna, like, you sound like you're saying the same thing as him, so now you sound like an idiot. And I didn't know what Synth said. I didn't know. I remember him being on there and yelling at them, but yeah, that was like the first time I heard of the Synth guy. And then yeah, every interaction since then has just been straight up like, just not, it's not logical. Nothing, none of it makes sense. Tom, is flamenco a nasty? I don't know. That's a good question. We should find out. I'm super interested.
Guilt by association.
No, it's not about having
I don't know why would he be a nasty?
enough friends. It's about if they're participating in the group.
So that's an association, isn't it?
Oh,
No, that's an action. He is
You're
an
saying it's
active
an
member of the AY Discord. I don't want to
You're
associate
saying
people that are in the AY
His
Discord.
action is associating with people. Like, this is just silly. Like, you're just, you can't possibly think that this isn't just obviously wrong, right? Like, you're just, I don't know if you're like just sitting there not saying anything. Okay, I like.
No,
all
wait,
right,
hold on. Let's
I'll just-
let's reset.
yeah,
Let's
so you go ahead.
just hold on.
Okay, so I've told you guys before, something that Destiny does, he does really well, is he will zoom in on a topic and just keep like getting more and more into detail until he figures out like what your core belief is and what your like core information is on this, and then he'll attack that. But lots of times when he doesn't find it, or when what he's trying to get across to you isn't getting across, he will zoom right back out. And I'm really bad about that, because if I'm there and I'm knocking on the door and they're just not opening, I'm just gonna like keep pounding, like, yo, let me in. Like, I don't have the like self-control to be like, okay, you know what? Let's take a different route and just zoom back out and start over and work your way back in. Like, I just don't have the patience for that. It is not a skill that I've acquired. I've watched some of Flamenco's stuff. He seemed reasonable. So Flamenco, I would say, is probably reactionary, but I got into fights with a lot of my friends and like lost friendships over the fact that I not only would I not call him a Nazi, but I got pissed off at everybody else calling him a Nazi, because he's not a Nazi. But he is, like, you know, he's probably fairly reactionary. Like, he's, yeah. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any issues with Flamenco. He's a cool kid. He's fine. I think he does dumb stuff sometimes and says dumb stuff sometimes, but I really like the way that he handles it every time. Like, he seems to be a really good sport about that sort of stuff, and he seems to be like willing to be wrong, and I like that about him. Anti SJW, I guess he's part of the what. Crap. I'm sorry, guys. I can't think of words. I'm so tired. but I'm waiting for my food to arrive, so I might as well stay on and babble like a brainless idiot. So I guess freaking as bad as this is for me right now, I Synth must have really been having a rough day. Yeah, I wouldn't call him anti-SJW, though I guess he kind of is. He's part of the not skeptic community. Damn it, dude. What's it called? I keep wanting to call them reactionaries, but that's not what that means. It's like the reaction community, the critique community. Oh man, I don't know. I like to only zoom in things personally. I think I tend to do similar. Yeah, Tom, you should work on that. Commentary community. Yes, thank you, Sassafras. Yes, he's part of the commentary community, but I would say he's a bit more reactionary than the rest, but also, yeah, I like his attitude. I think he's got spunk. The kid's got spunk. That's what I'm going with.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, we can hold on and have some more dead air.
Wait.
While you calm down.
Okay, yes. Let me calm down. Okay,
Let's be zen.
I can reach you. Okay, I can reach you.
true.
I'm coming for your mind. Okay, I'm coming into it right now. Okay, I can see you. I'm closing you. Okay, let's both be present. Okay.
Based on my past interactions with Synth, I would have hung up this call a long time ago. I mean, there's other times where literally he's like, let me come talk to you about this. Nah, dude, I'm not talking to you about anything. What are you talking about? Like, but Destiny had that, damn, dude, what was that debate? There was that really rough one. What was it? Transports debate. It was like the whole thing that made absolutely no sense from beginning to end. Like the whole debate just was nonsensical. It was ridiculous. Are we getting mukbang, Tom? Probably not. I don't know. Depending on where we're at on this or whether or not I want to keep going when my food gets here, we'll see. But I think that I might get off. So, oh no, my cart is empty. What the fudge? Did they cancel my order? Doesn't say they canceled my order. All right, I'll let you guys watch this.
Let's ignore everything we've talked about so far. All right.
All right.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't cancel my order. Okay. Says my dasher is waiting for my order. They will be here in 10 to 15 minutes. Sweet.
Okay. Let's say somebody comes up to me and they're like, hey, Steven, what's up? And I'm like, what's up, Ron? And Ron says, hey, how's it going? Can we be friends or can we chill and chat or whatever? And I'm like, sure. And Ron's like, I'm friends with John. Is that okay? And John is an active Ku Klux Klansman. Okay. Ron is friends with John, who's an active KKK member. And I say to Ron, a little weird that you're friends with him, but like, yeah, that's fine. Okay. We can chat and chill. That's okay, right? Okay. You follow me so far?
I'm following along, yeah.
Okay. Now let's say Jeremy comes up and Jeremy's like, oh, cool. You're friends with Ron. I'm friends with Ron and John too. Me and John are both in the Ku Klux Klan. Both of us are like active members. And now I'm looking at Jeremy and I'm like, I don't think I want to talk to you, Jeremy. And Jeremy's like, wait, what do you mean? Why not? Are you like guilt by associating me? And I'm like, well, no. It's not that I'm guilt by associating. It's that you're literally in the Ku Klux Klan with John. Like Ron is just friends with John, but you're actually in the KKK. Like, I don't really want to talk with people that are in the KKK. Understand the difference there between Jeremy and Ron?
Do you understand the difference between being in the Ku Klux Klan, where like part of that membership is based on your beliefs and your ideas, right? Like,
oh no, yeah, he's doing it again. He doesn't understand hypotheticals.
like being racist, for example, and just like knowing people who are in the Ku Klux Klan or associating with them.
Yeah,
like,
of course. That's the difference
yeah.
between Ron and Jeremy. Yeah, that's the difference between the two. Yeah.
The story about that fucking, what's his name? The black guy or whatever, right? Who goes to the Ku Klux Klan meeting.
Daryl,
right?
whatever,
He's like a Klansman, but he goes there and he goes he associates with these people, right?
Yeah.
It would be like what you're doing is a lot less like somebody has like a formal membership in like an organization which is founded on the ideas of racism, and a lot more like saying like, okay, you're that black guy who goes to all the Ku Klux Klan meetings. I can't talk to you anymore.
Okay, so again, I'm not accusing you of anything. I swear to God, I'm not trying to say that, okay? But I don't know if you're aware of the extent of how Avi participates in this community. And I'm going to admit right now, maybe it's changed over the maybe it's changed over the past couple years. But when I was part of those communities, Avi and Isaac were like the two main debater members of that server. Like people would go to those servers to have like philosophical debates or vegan debates.
As far as I know, they still are. As far as I know, that's still what it is. But again, Avi doesn't seem to be a debate bro. Like he doesn't seem he debates. But he's not like the toxic, reductive debate bro kind of guy.
With Avi Yourself. Avi wasn't just a guy that happened to the server watching. He was like one. Now, somebody in chat can tell me if I'm wrong or if it's changed or if it's different. But in the Ask Yourself Vegan Discord server, Avi and Isaac were like the two huge debaters there. Like that's what they are. Now, I'm not saying that that's even necessarily bad.
I just problem you have with him though, right? It's just it's not that he's a debater. Like you talk to plenty of debaters.
But no, I don't usually do like the ultimate like debate stuff, especially not like in like communities. Like there are certain groups of people that like big presuppositionalist communities where it's like I usually don't like, I just won't do it, just because I don't want to. But like that's my understanding of like, now maybe that's different, maybe it's not there, but.
So I just don't see why this is like. So you're saying he's a big debater, and I agree, he's like a debater, right? He's like a debate guy.
No, not just a debater. He's part.
The community he's a part of is what you're saying is really guilty.
Yeah,
right?
I don't like that. I don't like those actions. So like here's so somebody just pulled this up from that server. Apparently like even like a week ago, I'd love to see Francione versus Avi on abortion. If only he defended his view on antidepressants versus Avi. I just lost interest once he fled Avi and I think that's probably good given Avi's assessment. You think me, Venus, Avi, Troy are all the same here? I am, but he ran away from me and Avi. When Avi and I pushed him to defend his views, he ran from voice chat. This is my understanding. He's like part of this like ultimate debate.
All
like,
these are Ask Yourself quotes, right?
Yes, and Ask Yourself is the owner of the server. It's his server. That's what I'm saying. It's not just like a.
Wait,
just,
so what has Avi done wrong here?
He hasn't done anything wrong. None of these guys are wrong. I just don't want to.
Hold on. Yeah. So then, like saying like I'm not going to engage with you about like you steelmanning this philosophical topic that I want to talk about on the stream, like you being able to steelman it, being able to give good arguments in favor of one side of it. Like you can't like say like here are a bunch of screenshots of Ask Yourself being weird. Like yeah, Ask Yourself's weird as fuck.
No. Here, hold on.
Avi's a great guy. I don't see the issue with like.
I think Avi is a great guy. I'm literally friends with him on Discord.
I don't see why you don't yeah, but the issue is like if he's a great guy on Discord, but you won't bring him on stream to talk about issues, and there's a big issue. There's a big problem with that.
Because I don't know. Hold on.
You're not really.
Tom, do you know of any people your age that is an actual KKK member, not trying to accuse you of anything, just wondering how common it is? Oh, it like the KKK barely exists anymore. So about 10 years ago, so around like the 80s and 90s, the KKK just fell off. Now, there were other white nationalist groups that were rising, like Aryan Brotherhood. I can't think of the other ones, but there were a number of like dissident right-wing groups that, that became much bigger than the KKK, and the KKK just kind of died out. And they tried to like rebrand as like, oh, we love black people, we just care about white people. Like they tried to do the whole, what Richard Spencer and Nick Fuentes and all of these other people are doing now. That's what they were doing in like the 90s and early 2000s. But they're completely gone now. Outside of Georgia, which is where I live, I don't think they exist anymore. I actually knew people who were so I knew a Grand Wizard, and then I also had an employee whose father-in-law was also a Grand Wizard. And these are like high-ranking like KKK members. And yeah, like it's just that, like that's it. Like the boomers were the last generation with any KKK members in it, and they're all past their cross burning days. So
hold on, just a second. You're not really like, if you're not really able to hear out like the best possible arguments in favor of that position. You want to go ahead? That's when you started muting yourself. I don't know.
No, it's fine. I just don't know.
I could be worried about the piano, right?
No, you're good. You're totally fine. Listen, there is, let me say this, okay? Unequivocally, there is nothing wrong with Avi.
Literally nobody's ever called him out on playing the piano before, except for like, who was that one schizo dude who debated him on the Crucible? The freaking crap, what was his name? The nutso guy, dude. Like the
me say this. There's not even anything wrong with Ask Yourself, okay? I think Isaac is a smart dude, okay? There's nothing wrong with their whole server or anything they do. There's nothing wrong with all of that, okay? You do not have the right. You can't dictate to me that I must entertain conversations.
You don't have to.
But you're telling me I do.
Oh, hold on.
My personal preference is
Can
that.
I clarify my position?
Okay, sure.
What I'm saying is like, so your original tweet was that I was like, you kind of like made it out like I was being crazy by saying you have this like guilt by association.
Yeah, because I don't do guilt by association. I don't want.
You're just defending.
No,
You're just saying it's justified. Right?
I'm showing you
if you want
that.
to talk about that, I think there are other examples where like it's still guilt by association, but there it's just like, regardless of who, like what your personal feelings are on the matter, it's just you're clearly.
I just don't want to have like. I just don't want to have like. I don't want to have these conversations like these ultimate debater communities. That's it. It's not that Avi is associated. It's that he's part of them. He's a really big member in one of these communities. I just don't want to have those conversations.
Is there a so? It's that he's part of the community. You just said.
He's a part of the he's a lead participant. He's like one of the leaders of the community.
How do you be a part of a community other than being like associated with them?
Oh no, dude. He's really so this is I hadn't noticed this until much more recently, that there's a lot of people who actually have trouble with categorization. Like they really do. They have trouble like separating things within a categorization. And I don't know if it's like compartmentalizing that's the issue, or if it's like a misunderstanding of like definitions, but he's generalizing as much as possible to fit as much as possible in. But in a conversation like this, you want to get as defined as you possibly can so that you can understand the other person as much as possible. You don't want a broad general definition that can fit like everything in there. You just be like, oh, wait. I worked for a law firm called Gant and Associates, right? This is an association. By working there, there was a somebody who did something illegal. They tore the whole thing down, and then I left and got another job. Now, if somebody said that I was I was culpable for this crime that was committed by the lawyers or whoever, I like they could have said that would be like guilt by association, right? Because I didn't actually do any of the stuff. But Sinthe would say, oh no, that's not why it's guilt by association. It's guilt by association because you worked with an association that was guilty. That's why it's guilt by association. It's like, okay, that's not what the phrase guilt by association means, but I get what you're saying. I'm with you. We're on the same page, but that's not what guilt by association means. All right, guys, y'all are embarrassing me. Okay, this chat and this chat, the speed difference is a little bit off, just a little bit different. Let's try to keep up now. Okay, let's get it.
What do you think guilt by association means?
When you say somebody's culpable by their connections to somebody else?
Correct. Avi is not culpable by his connections. He's culpable by his participation. Do you understand the difference between that?
Connection. I feel like I'm...
No.
So
he participates. He is a leader in this community. He's a leader.
Participation is him associating with the community. This is just like...
I don't understand. Why is he's not actually engaging with what Destiny's saying. So when Destiny says, hey, I don't care about the association, I care about the participation, he's not engaging with the participatory argument whatsoever. Let's pee. Yeah. Let's pee. Oh. Let's speed the CP. Let's speed the child porn. Let's speed the child porn ABBA. True.
You moving the words around and saying it pretending it means something different.
Do you Do you think there's a difference between participating in a community and being associated with a person in the community? If you don't understand the difference,
associated with the community.
Yes.
Associated with the community as a whole, right?
No.
Oh wait, it popped up in a different order here than it did in my chat. That says PC on screen. Well done, Sass. Thanks for the contribution.
If you say you're associated with the community as a whole, that sounds like you're a participant.
What does it mean to participate in a community?
Okay, participating in a community is when you are a part of the community and you actively contribute to that community. That's what participating in the community means.
Okay. Is there anything he's done in terms of his participation with that community that you think is morally wrong or an issue?
No, bro, I'm not saying
okay,
they're
perfect. Hold on.
wrong.
And there's no. Yeah, hold it. Don't do the. You don't have to do like the weird high pitch thing. In the case of like hobbies.
See, okay, that right there. See, they have to point this freaking crap out. Oh wow, you had an inflection in your voice. Why? What? Oh wow. You put your hands on your head. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Why are you so triggered? Listen to how calm my voice is right now. Listen to me. Listen to how calm my voice is. I'm so calm. You are losing this debate because I'm calmer than you. That's how debates are decided, is based on who is calmer. Okay? So you need to calm down if you want to have a chance in this debate. Me pointing this out, I'm not actually trying to get you to calm down. I'm pointing it out so that everybody else recognizes how calm I am, just in case they didn't notice. I want them to notice how calm I am and how not calm you are, because that's really important. It's really important, guys.
What Avi's done. There's no reason why any of the things that he's done in that community. I mean, like, you can't hear out his arguments on
There
something
is
that's
though,
going
bro. I told you, I just don't want to
has he done
associate
wrong?
with people. I don't want to interact with people. I don't want to interact with people that are part of like the ultimate debater squads on these discords. That's just not what I want to do. I'm not interested in it.
Okay. So if your argument is not that like he's in any way like a, I guess just it seems weird to say like that it's kind of crazy to accuse you of like doing a guilt by association thing when you're like saying he's like, it's not just guilt, it's more like I wouldn't want to talk to these people if they're connected to these communities. And earlier you were saying like that would qualify as guilt by association, but now it doesn't. And I just don't understand that, like, he's kind of all over the place.
It's based on the reasoning. If he's saying it's just because of their association to those groups, then yes, you would be correct. But his reasoning is not based on their association to the group. His reasoning is based on their participation within the group. I'm really getting a migraine. I've already taken Excedrin. This is killing me. I think Sass told me yesterday that this would literally kill me. And I like, there's a chance she's actually correct, but I can't stop because I want to see this through to the end. I want, like, we've watched this. It's obviously embarrassing for Synth. At the point where, like, you know, he realizes, damn, I was gonna say at the point where he realizes and like gets that redemption arc where he's like, oh, okay, my bad, now I see what you're saying, then you know, I feel like that's necessary for us to make it to that point so that everybody's like, oh, he's not the dumbest person alive. He figured it out. It just had to be explained by this way. But what if he doesn't ever get to that point? Oh, then I think it will kill me. I think I will die at that point.
Do you
Like, I
understand
don't
the
get your
difference
position.
between driving by a corner that might sell like human trafficking victims versus buying a human trafficking victim?
My position is not. Wait, do you understand the difference between like being in a fucking Discord community and buying a human trafficking victim? This is like a
Wait, that's not what.
Oh! He doesn't understand hypotheticals. He doesn't understand hypotheticals. How? Oh, he did this in their last debate. He did this in their transports debate. He didn't understand the connections in the hypotheticals. He did this then too. This is insane. This is truly insane.
Bro, hold on. What is?
I want to be like queer. Like, I'm not, when I say insane, I don't mean like, look how wild this is. I mean like clinically, this is insane. This has no connection to reality. This is nuts.
Are you like 75 IQ? I don't know why you keep doing this with my
You're not in a
analogies.
position to call anyone stupid so far. Like you're being a fucking idiot. Like this is you've jumped all over the place in terms of your position here. Like you just insulted me a couple times, and like this is
You jumped all over the place of your position. Oh, okay. It's good.
the best counter argument you've got here. All right, is there like I don't know we can go somewhere else with the conversation if that's just a dead end, right? Like in your Xander Hall
hold on,
debate, it's all about guilt by association, right?
With
The Xander Hall debate was all about guilt by association. Okay. So the Xander Hall debate, for those We're unaware. The same thing. Their whole debate was about the fact that Vosh did or did not do a thing and was continuing to be friends with people who were doing things to harm Destiny, and Vosh did nothing about this. Like, it was about him not doing things to prevent things or choosing to what was the word again? I used it a bunch of times earlier. It's like the opposite of condemn. Is like reinforce. You're helping that thing. You're supporting it, lifting it up. What was the word? Endorsing. Thank you, Tom. So endorsing, like he was actively endorsing what it was that was happening, seemingly, at least to Destiny. I disagreed with what it was that Destiny was saying through that Vosh, Xander Hall thing, but his argument was still the same. It was, hey, it's based on your actions, not based on your association to these people. So it wasn't a guilt by association thing. It was based on actions.
I can't believe. Okay, you talk pretty
can't
quick.
believe what?
You have a decent. Don't believe you're this stupid. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what are we not connecting on? Either you're like super predisposed towards hating me, or I'm doing a really poor job
I
of
don't
explaining
hate you.
myself.
I don't. Yeah, I wonder. I don't think it's that he's predisposed towards hating him. I wonder sometimes if he has like a thing where he like decides he wants to show somebody up, and then like it's just a one track mind. Like he can't get off of that, and ends up making a fool of himself in the process because he has to own you. He has to get you. He has to come out on top. He has to be the victor. Like that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like in my interactions with him, the one that we just went over a little bit ago with Twitter. That's what it seemed like, where he's focusing on something that I've already said. That's not what I'm saying. Why are you still trying to argue with me over something that I said? I that's not what I'm saying. Even if you think that's clearly what it looks like I said, cool. But I've already told you that's not what I was meaning to to convey, and you should be like, oh, okay, now that I know what it was that you wanted to say, cool, let's move on from that position now. But instead, he'll keep arguing with me over whether or not it actually looks like I said this other thing. And that's what he's doing with Destiny, where it's like, I want to talk to you about my misunderstanding. I want to keep arguing my misunderstanding with what you said, because I can't tell you what you mean with words. I can't tell you what it is that you want to say. I can't do that. Don't mess with the cabal. Sass, probably don't say that. You want to be careful with that one. You might not be aware. Just chill. If I didn't know who you were, I might have banned you for that for that statement. You might have gotten. Hey, Shaboy, your order has been picked up and is on the way. Sweet. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, the point is, there's no reason to keep arguing with somebody over what you think they meant to say. They can tell you, this is what I meant to say, or this is how I wanted you to interpret my words, and you can either say, okay, now I understand, thank you, or say, okay, well, I still disagree with that, so let's talk about that. But what you can't do is say, no, I want you to mean this, because that's a complete Mr. Girl thing, right? That's one of the, that's like that's a pure Mr. Girl thing. No, I know what you're thinking. And I am telling you, this is what you think. Like, he's explained what it is that he's saying. You can engage with that or not, but to keep arguing, well, no, I'm still going to argue as though you were saying this other thing. It's just, I don't know.
Why do you think I hate you?
Because you're fundamentally lost. You're like you're lost at sea in this conversation. And I don't understand how you're so lost.
So why do you think so? Okay, I just don't.
Hold on. Like, here's a question.
I hate you.
Okay,
You're victim complex.
no,
I don't hate you. I feel like
okay.
You seem like.
Wait,
go ahead.
Okay, if I know a guy and he's friends with somebody that's in ISIS, do you think that's different?
Yeah, just for y'all's information, okay. I know Jack already knows this, but cabals are normally used to refer to high-ranking elite Jewish people that are all in connection together to make decisions for the rest of the world behind the scenes. So anytime somebody uses the word cabal, that's normally what it is that you're talking about. And so obviously that's the joke for Jack, right? That's the whole joke. That's the point. We get it. But then if you're out in public around a bunch of other people who don't get it and you're talking about cabals, and the Jewish part is specifically for far righties and not in any other circumstance, I highly disagree with that. I think that in general, people hear the word cabal, they're thinking of a Jewish cabal. I could be wrong, but let's see. A cabal, a secret political clique or faction. What is the meaning of cabal? Often capitalized, a student, interpreter, devotee of the Jewish Kabbalah. So literally the word cabal comes from a devotee of the Jewish Kabbalah. So yeah, I think it's a pretty Jewish term.
Than a guy that's in ISIS?
A guy who is in ISIS?
So let's say there's one guy and I'm like, I guess I can
I
talk to
told
you.
you several times I understand the difference between these two things. You
Okay.
keep bringing up like different versions of the same example.
Okay.
I've already addressed it.
Okay, that's good. Hold on. So there's a difference between a guy that's in ISIS and a guy that's friends.
Oh, yeah, Jack, I agree. I agree that it can be used for other things. I'm saying colloquially, like generally, people hear the word cabal and they're going to associate it with Jewishness. I agree that, like, yes, it can mean other things. I'm just talking about like relative associations with the word. Yeah.
So is there a difference between a guy that's just in like the Ask Yourself Discord versus a guy that's like a huge participant in that server? Like, is there a difference between a guy that's like friends with somebody in the server versus a guy that's like a lead participant in that server?
I agree there's a difference between a very weak association and a very strong association, but they're both associations.
Okay, so is every
I feel like
time
you're lost in this conversation. You projected that onto me. Let's look, you've asked this 8 times now. Are you gonna give me another example?
Okay,
what is
what is
I know the difference.
What is okay? I'm sorry, maybe I need to find this again. What does association mean with you again?
Like connection to somebody on like a social level.
Okay, do you agree that there's a difference between an association with somebody and a participation in a community?
A difference between like an association. It depends on the community, but in some communities, no, and in some yes.
So,
some communities, the only way you participate is via association.
My issue is not
participate by like having shared ideology, right? In the case of the Ku Klux Klan or ISIS.
Okay, so my issue is not that Avi is just associated with the Discord; it's his participation in the Discord.
My cabal comes from the Blacklist, like the television show, The Blacklist. The Order of Zion is fake news made up the nasties in 1920. Is that why?
Into the tip $20. I like the show.
Well, thank you, Antova.
Discord.
What participation in the Discord does he do that you think is like?
I've literally shown you that the lead character in this Discord references him multiple times this month.
Yeah, what's the thing he's doing in the Discord that you have an issue with?
Doing the debate lording.
What debate lording do you think he's doing that's like issuesome?
When they literally are, like, the way that these guys do debates is that, like, they'll get like these newbies like in the channel, like, okay, we're gonna do the debate now. Why do you think it's the consequential difference between animals and human life? Oh, okay, well, I want you to name the trait. That's a non sequitur fallacy. Use it. Like, this is the type of stuff, or like the calling into shows.
Wait, hold on. When has Avi ever done that?
That's what they used to always do. Maybe they haven't in the past year or two.
Wait.
No, not even the last year or two. Like, one of my
Avi doesn't have to do it in order for Destiny's case to matter, because Destiny is just saying he's a participant within this group. Well, not just a participant, but a leader within this group. So say like let's say Beardson, right? He's like Nick Fuentes' number 2 man, right? Let's say Beardson is actually like a super moderate dude. He's never been far right, and he's openly moderate. Nick Fuentes knows he's moderate. Everybody knows he's moderate. But he still calls himself America First, a Groiper. You know, he's closely associated with Nick Fuentes, doesn't disavow Nick Fuentes, doesn't debate him, you know, all that crap. But Beardson himself is a moderate. It doesn't matter whether or not Beardson is actively, you know, talking about Jewish cabals and stuff like that. It's him being a leader within the group. The group is still doing this messed up stuff, and he's a leader in this group, so he's now culpable. But it's not guilt by association, because it's not just his association to the group. It's his active participation within the group.
my first debates ever was like with Avi, and like he didn't do that to me. And I was like brand fucking new to that.
That's great if he didn't do it to you, and I'm sure there are some debates where Isaac hasn't done it either.
I've never seen him do that to anyone.
Okay,
He's like,
but
always,
okay, no
Isaac,
offense, but you didn't. It sounds like you didn't even know that much.
Doesn't.
Okay, it sounds like you didn't even know that much about the server. So I don't know why you're in a. I was a very active member in the server for quite a while. Okay.
You were participating in that community.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Did you miss the part of the?
Just insane.
Wow, Destiny. If you were an active member of the community, then obviously you're guilty of the same thing Avi is. Haha.
Community?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Did you miss the part of the?
It's just insane.
Did you wait? Did you miss the part of the conversation where I said I used to be like really big into debate
I
lording, and I
know,
gave you the story of the girl invited me, and I said,
like,
and then I said like I don't do that
so you're
anymore.
saying, like,
Yeah.
Okay. So with Avi, what do you have like? Can you show like a video or something of him like doing something that you think was like too debate lordy, like going too far?
I don't have stuff saved of these guys. I don't know.
I've got saved. Just like when you remember, like maybe the name of it, I'll look it up afterwards and check.
No, I wasn't on stuff on YouTube. I told you I was part of these Discord communities. Like I sat in these
So
servers and listened.
It's on the like it's only the debates Avi's done where there's no.
Let's see what the channels is Destiny following? So number one channel that Destiny's following is Destiny. Then Lauren Southern. Wow. Stevie Emerson? Who is that?
Hey. Do I know you?
Nope.
You know what I think it might be? Do you model?
Look, I know what you're doing, okay?
What am I doing?
No thank you. This is not the first time I've been hit on, sir.
I wasn't hitting on you. I just thought I knew you from somewhere, but...
No.
Alright, fair enough. Sorry for bothering you.
Oh, no.
I got it. The private Drake event. Do you remember? I introduced you to Aubrey Graham.
You don't know Drake.
Were you not the smoke show on my shoulders? He closed with headlines. They're like, they know. Aubrey Graham, me and you don't remember that? It was a really fun night.
I haven't been on someone's shoulders since I was 7.
This is gonna kill me. Where do I know you from?
If this is your attempt at hitting on a woman, I feel very sad for you.
You're a little crazy, girl. I know that.
Shoot.
Because we've partied together.
Get on Tinder. Do an app.
You know what it is?
In person, it's not for you.
You sit next to me at the Laker games.
Oh, yeah, please. Can I go on a date with you to see the Lakers with Drake, your best friend?
Hey, sister, look at me. Hey, I know you.
I'm not your sister.
You know what it might be? I met you on my voyage to the moon. Maybe you've heard of it?
Okay, you're an astronaut now. What are you, Jeff Bezos?
Did we not meet at the moon?
At the moon.
You were the bank teller that helped me withdraw all this cold hard quiche.
I get it. You've got money.
Daddy's got bandos. NYU. I think we had class together, did we not?
How did you know I went to NYU, creep?
I know you went to NYU because we know each other. I'm telling you, I'm not...
Look, I cannot handle this anymore, okay? I've had a horrible week, and I cannot take getting hit on by you. All I want to do is eat my salad and get drunk by myself, and how did you get that picture?
So this one does ring a bell then.
Yeah.
That photo was taken at Julia Johnson's house last Saturday, March 15th at 9:26 p.m. But if you don't know me and I don't know you, then I must have the wrong girl altogether.
I don't know anything.
Weren't you like hosting that party with Julia? Julia Johnson, wow. You know, what a sweet girl she is. Or should I say what a sweet girl she was? Because that night she actually went missing. Spooky. Now I know everything there is to know about the disappearance of Julia Johnson that night.
Okay. This is going way... I can't.
No proof of it. What about like the ones where other people record it and like put it like do you like remember a person he debated or something that he did that to?
There's a whole channel
Destiny, if you want to have this opinion on this other guy, you need to have proof. Sorry.
on YouTube, but bro, I don't have this saved right
Yeah,
now.
I know there's the fucking AY server archives or whatever.
Wait, hold on.
I know,
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Are you linked it to me. I'm aware of it.
Okay, wait. Are you like trying to say that like I'm not allowed to have an opinion because I don't have a specific YouTube video saved of every single person I have an impression
You can have
of?
an opinion, but just like, you don't even have like a name in mind. Like,
No, I don't because I don't know the names of the dude. I was in the server like people can look. Wait, hold on. Can you guys look up logs of me?
I
in
literally
that?
cannot engage with this.
Can you guys look up?
There's no way to
hold on.
engage with you like not remembering any kind of like name or point like thing you can point out. I guess.
It can.
That's not that it's not relevant to the debate. It's not relevant. If you're there to talk to him about whether or not this is guilt by association, it's not relevant. Or if you're there to talk to him about whether or not he should talk to Avi, that's where y'all should have been a long time ago. But doesn't seem like that's what you want to talk about. You know, that Steve guy, Steve Francis or Frasis or whatever his name was, I literally thought that he was frozen over and over. Every time Destiny would answer his question, every single time I was about to be like, oh, I think he dropped out. I think he looks like he's frozen. Every time he would say something right before. You can go back and watch. I could pull it back up. Every single question he'd ask, the guy would be sitting there like this. And like every time you can go back and watch, I'd be like, and as soon as I'd like lean up, he'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh my goodness. How does he keep doing this?
Hold on, sorry, I have to mute you. Okay, if anybody can look up logs of me in the Ask Yourself Discord and find out how long ago did I post there? I felt like it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, sorry, what do you want?
What do you want?
I don't know. I can't really engage with you like saying there's some evidence out there that exists that you just can't remember, I guess. But I don't know. Do you want to like I could throw a different example at you. Maybe you have like more memory of it, like the Xander Hall debate, right? Like it was kind of all about guilt by association. I thought.
Fuck me. Wait, is this a troll?
There's no reason why you could possibly believe I'm trolling here. You can do a fake laughing thing or whatever, but like you just haven't addressed any.
See, he has to point this stuff out every time. Oh, you can laugh. You can do fake laughing. Like it's all about like, oh, look how calm I am. You're laughing and I'm calm over here. Why would you be laughing if I'm calm? Why would you do this? I'm perfectly fine with me saying a bunch of stupid stuff. Why are you upset? Why are you getting all laughy and you know acting like this is funny when I say retarded stuff? I'm perfectly calm when I say retarded stuff. So why aren't you calm when I say retarded stuff?
need my point so far.
I'm on.
You quote tweeted me acting
I'm
like I
so
was
on
crazy.
drugs.
for saying
I'm
you
on
felt
drugs
extra
right
shady.
now, guys. This is what happens when you do too much. I don't even know when I'm sober anymore. My mind is fucked.
You all right?
I don't think I am, dude.
Okay.
This is how I felt talking to him. Both the two times, the two examples that I gave you guys, the what do you call it? The Twitter one, and then the one with the objective definitions. I had to go ask other people, like, what do you think about this? What does this say? Like, what do you think when I say this? Or what's your opinion on this? Just to make sure, like, dude gaslights you on accident. He's so far off into the ether that, like, he's accidentally gaslighting you the entire time.
You just like implying it's like insane that I'm bringing this up is not like the same as a counter argument, I guess.
It's not. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. You said that you are.
Wait, hold on. Can I wait real quick? Hold on. If I'm telling you that I had a personal experience in a Discord server over a few years, like 4 or 5 years ago, with this server, like debating, like people come in, do you really think it's reasonable that I would remember names of people being debated?
Are we controlling back to the thing that you like thought of? You finally thought of like a response for?
I'm not. Wait, no. It's not that I thought of a response. It's that you started pushing me. Like, do you have like a specific?
He literally said before that he didn't remember. Why is this control-zing back? Why would we call this anything? He's just repeating what he already said. Accidental gaslighting seems more common than it should be, to be honest. I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Dude, I know that. Here's another thing. Here's another thing. Hold on. Here's another thing. Here's another thing. My own server has a lot of like debate lording that goes on it, but I couldn't tell you a single name of anybody that's debated in my Discord. So I don't know. I don't remember. I don't look at the names. It's been a long time since I've like.
I just like the issue is like never anywhere on like Avi's YouTube channel can you point it out. You're saying it's only the ones that aren't.
No,
I can't.
No.
Are uploaded to the AY Discord archive, which I can search to and maybe find Avi like being bad faith in there or something, or like being like too harsh with newbies.
I need a moderator. I can't do it. Can I bring on a third party?
Who is your third party?
A guy named Pisco. He's hilarious. He's a good moderator.
I don't know. If you need like another like friend of, you can.
His name's not a friend. I hate him. We disagree on terrorism and Roe v. Wade. I think so.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if all you can do is like smugly laugh every time.
I'm not being smug. I'm actually confused. I'm lost.
Wow, you're smugly laughing. I'm not laughing. Look at me not laughing over here while you are laughing. Interesting.
You can't say I'm not being smug in that like the most obviously smug.
I'm not being smug. I'm not being smug.
I'm genuinely confused. I'm lost. Can I please just? Can I?
What was that?
Can I give you an example? Smug.
I'm not being smug. I'm not being smug.
I'm not being smug.
I'm not being smug in that like the most obviously smug.
I'm not being smug. I'm not being smug.
I'm genuinely confused. I'm lost. Can I please just? Can
I give you an example and you just tell me if this sounds like guilt by association? If I said you are who you hang around, would that be?
Tom Pisco does a good job. You also said that Matt Binder did a good job, and you said that Sinthe destroyed Destiny in this debate. I don't trust you anymore.
Guilt by association?
I mean, it could be. It depends on like what you are you hang around. Like, it depends on what you mean by that. Like, if you tell me that you have like one friend that's a Nazi, like, I don't know if I think you're a Nazi. But if you tell me all your friends are Nazis, I might think you're a Nazi. It super depends. I'm gonna need more context for that.
What if I'm saying like you are who you hang around in regards to like I'm saying like Lauren Southern's audience members say things I think are bad and therefore Lauren Southern's bad. Would that be guilt by association?
It wouldn't be guilt by association, but there are legitimate criticisms you could make there. If like or a lot of members of a person's audience say certain.
When Sassafras is on drugs, she feels like she's talking as fast as Sinthe. Never trust anyone who admits to being in the cabal. True. Sorry, Sass. Your brain doesn't move that fast to talk that fast.
Things, and I think you should be aware of that, yeah. Like my audience, for instance, because we've been doing so much fucking incel content, I think my audience is legitimately like took a pretty heavy incel ban that I have to like hard correct over the next 2 months. So like that's like
if somebody condemned you, said you were culpable because of what your audience was doing there, would you say that is like it would be at least not insane, right? At least not insane to say like somebody doing that, somebody implying you're culpable for your audience's actions there.
I mean, I don't think that you're like one-to-one culpable, but I think you have some level of responsibility.
My brain is so big and powerful. You have a woman's brain.
Over your audience's behavior, but it's going to depend on
I
what we're
agree.
talking about. Like for instance, like if I interact with somebody, or if I interact with any large content creator, like 2 of their like viewers send me a death threat, like it's 2 people, like what can I do? But if they're like sicking their fan base on me, like Keffels does, then I'm like, okay, holy shit, like you're actually brigading. Like there's going to be a difference. It depends on like the level of culpability is going to depend on the level of engagement and how they direct their community, right?
So what if I was like, so imagine that you're doing a bunch of outreach to right-wingers, right? You get a bunch of right-wingers in your community and you convince them all to like vote Democrat or something, right? And then I tell you something like, no, those people are conservatives. You can't convince them to change their minds. You need to distance yourself from them. You need to push them out of your community and not change them to voting for Democrat. Do you think this would be something that's like morally an issue? Like that I shouldn't tell you to do this?
That's like, so it depends on what you do. Like my goal is like arguing and like conversing with people and like bringing people together from different points of view. So I would want like a divergent set of views in my audience. That would be something I would go for. But if you're somebody that like, let's say that you have a channel that's like a safe space for LGBT issue discussion, you probably don't want a lot of those people in your community. It's going to depend on like the goal of your channel or what kind of advocacy you do.
Okay. If your advocacy is like, if maybe like the best aspect of your advocacy, for example, right, is like you're telling a bunch of people who would have otherwise not voted for a Democrat to go vote for a Democrat, that convinces them to change their mind and maybe like vote for Biden or something, right? 2020, 2016.
Okay.
Do you think it would be like good to push these people out of your community, or should you keep them in where you can continue to change their minds and like move them over to voting for Democrats?
I mean, for my community, I think my goal would be to keep them in to change their minds. Those would be the goal, right?
Yeah, for your community, and that's a pretty reasonable goal. And like even if those people were like maybe like really anti a friend of yours or something, it would be kind of silly to push them out of your community for that, right? It would be better to like have the more significant impact on politics than it would be to just push these people out entirely, right?
That's what I would say, sure. But that's not going to be the same goal for every community, but yeah.
I agree. It's not the same for every community, but you would say it's your goal, but you wouldn't say it should be Vosh's.
I mean, Vosh marketed himself as someone similar to me, so I would imagine it would be Vosh's goal too, but maybe he has different goals in his community now.
So if it should be Vosh's, then like it's probably not a good reason to like stop associating with somebody like Vosh, or even to like tell him he shouldn't be hanging around people who don't like you personally, when he could be moving those like woke lefties over to voting for a Democrat who would have otherwise just not voted at all, right?
If somebody said that, yeah, but I don't know if Vosh is moving any of those people. But
you don't think Vosh is convincing any woke lefties to, instead of being Bernie or Busters, to vote for a Democrat, to vote for Joe Biden? You don't think he's moved any of them?
He might be a little bit, but he also like plays games where he tries to appeal to the woke squad as well. So.
Oh my goodness, I had no clue it was this late. Why did my food Why did it take over an hour and a half? I'm sorry, guys. I did not realize it was 12:45. I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. Well, it's been fun. Thanks to Destiny and Nick Fuentes and Rose Riss for coming out for the debate. It's a great debate. Will go down as one of the greatest debates of all the great debates. I will be back on someday. Till then, appreciate you, love you, and I'll see you next time. Later, fools.